Did you know during the last World Cup, nearly half of the world's population tuned in to witness and experience this incredible event? That's 3.5 billion people, 7 billion eyes watching one event. The FIFA World Cup is so much more than just a soccer tournament. It brings happiness, it brings hope, it unites people, and it really creates this friendly, party like atmosphere, which is why I believe anyone can have fun at a FIFA World Cup. My father went to the last World Cup in 2010 in South Africa, and he describes it as one of the most incredible, best experiences of his life. He met this French family, and they started talking about the France-Mexico game, and then this South African guy came in, and they started talking and about my dad a beer, and it's something like my dad would always remember because it's just something that like it just brings people together. And well, I really want to emphasize though that the FIFA World Cup is a very big deal, and it's a very prestigious event that only happens every 4 years. Um, which is why the FIFA World Cup should have a host nation that can meet all its requirements and expectations without jeopardizing the people or the nation itself. Um, this is why I believe the United States should be the host nation of the 2022 World Cup instead of Qatar. Qatar is not a good fit to be host nation for this type of tournaments because it doesn't have enough people to fill up the stadiums. It doesn't have the stadiums. The infrastructure is not there, and the laborers are in danger. The United States is a great fit because, well, first of all, it's a big nation with a lot of great venues. From the east to the west coast, you have all these different cities like New York, Chicago, L.A., Portland. You have Dallas, Miami, where you can have these, which already has these big stadiums, and there's a lot of flights to the United States, so it's not too hard to make it here, where you have to make all these different stops to reach this one nation. The United States also uh, has the stadiums already made, and well, soccer in this nation has been growing, and I believe a World Cup would be exactly what it needs to have the American people experience the beautiful game. I just told you why the United States is a great candidate. These are the reasons why Qatar isn't a great, perfect candidate. Qatar doesn't have the infrastructure, and it needs to. According to FIFA.com, it has to spend $10 billion to construct enough stadiums at the requirements FIFA should have for the World Cup. And instead of using that money for a tournament, Qatar should invest that money and fix the problems it already has, like the fresh water problem they have, the energy problems they have, and the marine life. And they have a lot of endangered marine life they have to focus on. Qatar also, even if they buy these stadiums and construct these huge things, it doesn't have enough people to really support these stadiums. As the tournament goes by, more of the fans outside Qatar are going to leave. So once we get to the quarterfinals, Qatar is going to depend on the local support to fill these stadiums. And the population is too small. It's less than 2 million people. And not everyone could afford to go. So the local Qatar really really has to rely on this local support. And well, even if all of that can be solved, one thing, like even as a soccer fan, something I can't stand is, well, there's been a lot of reports coming from Amnesty saying that the labor workers constructing these big stadiums aren't being held in good conditions. Some quotes from Amnesty International, which is a international human rights organization, um, state that the workers are being treated like cattle. The workers are subjected to non-payment of wages, harsh, dangerous working conditions, and shocking standards of accommodation. Our findings indicate an alarming level of exploitation in the construction sector in Qatar. That came from the Secretary General Salih Shetty, and they report also from Amnesty International that Qatar has caused hundreds of migrant workers to be injured or dead in the last couple of months trying to construct these large stadiums, and have reported 400 deaths already. And they predict if this continues that there will be 4,000 deaths in Qatar just trying to construct these stadiums. Conclusion: I feel the United States is just a better candidate to be the 2022 World Cup host instead of Qatar. It has enough people. It has the stadiums already, and It's not really endangering anyone's lives. At that point, really, you bring up the question whether is it worth it to have a World Cup if it's killing all these different people. Something you can do to stop this is you can log on onto or rerun the vote No World Cup without workers right .org, and you could join this petition campaign to have FIFA have a revote and basically have a new host nation.